In 1963, a British researcher measured something that shouldn't exist. One plant produced 100 tons of biomass per acre. On poor Essex soil, year after year, the same result. Its taproot drills down 6 to 10 feet, mining minerals from depths no crop can reach. Cut it to the ground in May. By June, it's shoulder high again. Do this 4 times a season. Forever. Lawrence Hills spent decades proving this could replace chemical fertilizer entirely. Then, in 2001, everything stopped. Not because it failed, because one study found something in the roots. The FDA issued warnings and retailers pulled it from shelves nationwide. This is the story of how infinite abundance got buried by fear. That taproot plunges straight down, 6 feet, 8 feet, 10 feet into the earth. While tomatoes scratch at the top 18 inches of soil, Comfrey drills into clay hardpan, reaching mineral layers most crops never touch. It's mining. Potassium locked in subsoil rock. Calcium trapped in clay. Phosphorus bound in ancient mineral deposits. The taproot cracks them open and pumps them upward into those massive leaves. The numbers fresh Comfrey leaves test at 2 to 3% nitrogen, 1% phosphorus, and 5 to 7% potassium. That's 2 to 4 times more potassium than farmyard manure. Comfrey's low fiber content means decomposition happens in under 48 hours. Lay fresh-cut leaves at the base of a tomato plant on Monday. By Wednesday, they're melting into the earth, releasing nutrients exactly where roots need them. The cycle cut Comfrey to the ground in May. Within 4 weeks, it's 2 feet tall again. Do this in June, July, August. 4 to 5 heavy cuttings every season, producing up to 100 tons of fresh biomass per acre. The same plant, the same roots, year after year, for decades. No replanting, no fertilizer input, no tilling. Over 20 years, a single patch can turn depleted ground into rich, living soil through the plant's own relentless cycle of mining and releasing. 1 acre of Comfrey delivers 100 tons of nutrient-rich green matter. That's the equivalent of 50 tons of finished compost, enough to feed an entire market garden without ever buying fertilizer. Lawrence Hills was born in 1911 into a Britain defined by scarcity. By 1954, after living through 2 world wars and rationing, he founded the Henry Doubleday Research Association in Barking, Essex. His mission: prove with hard numbers that Comfrey could feed people and livestock without chemicals. The trials. By 1958, he'd secured a 3-4-acre plot and began testing 21 different Comfrey strains. The work was muddy, monotonous, precise. Every harvest was weighed, every leaf analyzed. He was searching for the perfect Comfrey, one with maximum nutrients and 0 invasiveness. By 1963, one strain stood out. Barking 14. It was sterile, produced flowers but no viable seeds. It showed disease resistance, and it delivered the highest nutrient content, especially potassium, of any variety tested. Synthetic fertilizer arrived in bright bags with glossy labels. 3 numbers, N, P, K, measured to the gram. No cutting, no waiting. Just open the bag, sprinkle, done. You could fertilize an entire garden bed in 5 minutes. Extension offices and agricultural colleges promoted the new way. The message was clear. Modern farming means less labor. Chemical inputs weren't positioned as better, just faster, more convenient. The safety scare Comfrey contains pyrrolizidine alkaloids, compounds concentrated in the plant's roots. When consumed in high doses over long periods, they can cause liver damage. This wasn't new information. Herbalists had known for centuries not to eat large amounts of Comfrey root. In the 1980s, Several cases of human illness were reported, linked to chronic comfrey consumption, mostly people drinking comfrey tea daily or taking concentrated root powder supplements. In July 2001, the US FDA advised dietary supplement manufacturers to remove all comfrey products from the market. The advisory targeted supplements and teas, products meant to be swallowed. But here's what the headlines didn't say. Using comfrey leaves as garden mulch or fertilizer was never banned. Studies showed that comfrey leaves contain far fewer alkaloids than roots, often less than 1/10, and soil microbes break these compounds down rapidly when used as mulch. The distinction didn't matter. Once the word toxic attached to comfrey, the damage was done. Garden centers stopped stocking it, not because it was illegal, but because retailers didn't want to explain the difference between a banned supplement and a safe fertilizer plant. There were no laws against growing comfrey. Still, the effect was chilling. The knowledge survived only among permaculture circles, quietly passed along as root cuttings and word-of-mouth advice. The simplest way is chop and drop. Cut leaves at the base. Lay them right at the feet of your tomatoes, peppers, squash, berry bushes. No digging, no mixing. Just drop the leaves and walk away. Within 48 hours, the green pile melts into the soil, releasing potassium and nitrogen exactly where fruiting plants need it most. Comfrey tea. For a liquid boost, stuff a bucket with fresh leaves, add water, cover it, and let it ferment for 2 to 4 weeks. Fair warning, it smells terrible. The result is a dark brew that tests at roughly 2 to 1 to 3 NPK, stronger in potassium than many chemical tomato fertilizers, but brewed from a plant you cut for free. The long-term promise plant comfrey. Once, and for 20 years or more, you have a living fertilizer factory. No trips to the garden center. No ongoing cost. Over a decade, a small patch can save you hundreds, even thousands on fertilizer. Bocking 14 doesn't spread by seed, so you need root cuttings to start. They're available online from organic nurseries, usually $5 to $8 per plant. Plant them 2 to 3 feet apart. The first year, they establish. The second year, they explode. By year 3, you're cutting armfuls. A veteran permaculture designer in Devon stands among his comfrey patch, roots deep in the same soil for 18 years. Each spring, the plants surge back with no coaxing, producing 5 heavy harvests a season. He calculates that his quarter-acre orchard saves roughly $300 per year, about $375 USD, in commercial fertilizer costs. Over nearly 2 decades, that's more than £5,000 never spent. The dark, crumbly earth beneath his trees tells its own story, richer, looser, alive with earthworms. An urban gardener grows tomatoes on a tiny balcony in Manchester. She chops leaves from 3 plants in containers, drops them around her tomato pots, lets them melt into the soil. For liquid feeding, she ferments comfrey tea in a sealed bucket. Her fertilizer bill has dropped by about 80% since she started 3 years ago. She propagated her original 3 plants from root cuttings traded at a local garden swap. Now she gives cuttings to her neighbors. Bristol soil scientist. At a community garden in Bristol, a soil scientist explains that comfrey leaves used as mulch contain less than 1/10 of the pyrrolizidine alkaloids found in roots. Microbes in the soil break these compounds down rapidly. There's no evidence linking comfrey mulch to toxins in harvests. He pulls out soil tests from plots that have used comfrey mulch for 5 years straight. Nitrogen levels are stable. Potassium has increased significantly. The soil structure has improved. More aggregation, better water retention. Research suggests that replacing synthetic fertilizer with comfrey over a plant's 20-year lifespan could reduce carbon emissions by nearly a ton per small garden patch. For modern growers, Planting comfrey isn't nostalgia. It's rebellion. It's the choice to feed the soil, not the supply chain. Right now, fertilizer prices are higher than they've been in decades, while soil health declines worldwide. The cost of synthetic nitrogen has tripled in some regions since 2020. One plant, buried by fear and convenience, offers a proven path to self-renewing abundance. No store-bought inputs required, no dependency on supply chains that can break. The question isn't whether comfrey can change our future. We know it can. Lawrence Hills proved it with decades of data. Thousands of gardeners across Europe and North America are proving it right now. The question is whether we'll let old narratives keep us from planting it, whether we'll choose convenience over resilience. What would it mean to grow something once and have it feed your garden for 20 years? What would it mean to cut your fertilizer costs to zero? Not through deprivation, but through abundance. This isn't about going backward. It's about remembering what actually works and deciding whether freedom from the fertilizer I lay is worth the price of growing something strange and generous and a little bit prehistoric in your garden. The knowledge survived. The plant survived. The root cuttings are out there, passed hand to hand in the underground economy of people who never forgot. The only question left is what you'll choose to plant.